Why do people procrastinate? Why is it that we procrastinate? Because we all procrastinate. Let's be honest. We all procrastinate. So let's just figure this out here. Mostly we feel these sensations. First of all, we procrastinate because we don't want to do something. It is something that we don't want to do. Just as simple as that. And when we don't want to do something, our brain is capable, our mind is capable to invent all kinds of excuses, even the most professional excuses not to get it done. And it is just so incredible. This is what happens in a more profound way. There is something called, and write this down, there is something called electrical resistance. Electrical resistance. What that means is that your brain knows when you don't want to do something. Your brain consumes 10 to 100 times more energy when you do something you don't like, when you do something that it is complex, challenging, boring. So your brain tries to prevent you from doing that. That's exactly what happens. And that's why when you are about to do something you don't want, you don't like, challenging, think about exercising, for example, mostly people don't want to do that. Your brain starts giving you all kinds of things. Oh, remember that you have to do that, get back to do this other stuff. Your main, actually, let me tell you something, and I have basis, and I take responsibility for saying this. Your brain even can make you sick, can make something that is hurting you in your body for you not to do that, to prevent you from doing that. That's what happens when you procrastinate. Is because it is something you don't want to do. Now, how do you deal with that? How do you face that and avoid that? Actually, you limit that to the lowest and lowest numbers. Okay, let me share with you 4 things. Actually, these are 3 things, and the 4th one is like a bonus, let's say. Okay, how do you deal with that and face that and almost kill that? Number 1, maybe it is something that you have heard before, or let me share with you in my own words, with my own rhythm and tonality and all that. Divide things into actionable steps. Because what happens is when you see the whole thing so challenging, so complicated, so complex, you just think about that complicated thing, that whole thing, that enormous thing that is awaiting you to get it done, right? So you get afraid, you get away from it, you try to avoid it. That's what happens. So divide things into actionable steps. Find maybe even the tiniest thing regarding that project to start doing it and to get it done. So again, divide things into actionable steps. Don't just think about this whole enormous thing, because probably not gonna get it done, especially if it is super complicated. And mostly when it is something very big, it means that it is super complicated. Okay, number 1. Number 2, get accountability. And especially for those things you don't want to do, for those boring, stressing things, get accountability. Okay, this is scientifically proven. When you get accountability, when you get people that are checking in with you, that are following up with you, that are chasing you in a positive way, because this is positive pressure, it is called psychological necessity. Write that down. And what that means is your level of commitment and your level of motivation to get something done. It can be in general with your work in general, and it can be specifically with one task, right? Okay, get accountability, and share that with 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 people. Share that and ask those people to check in with you. And especially if it is something very complicated, share that with people. And if possible, share it with the world in your social media. But the best accountability that I know is when you choose a specific number of people, let's say 5 or 6, and you say to them, hey, by the end of the month, I want to have this done. I have, and I must have this done. So check in with me, follow with me frequently, and especially that final day, check in with me. So you're gonna find yourself being more compromised, more committed to get that done. So get accountability. I can share with you my own example. For example, last year, I started learning German, the German language. And I know because I experienced that learning English because it is not my first language, English. When you start learning a language, oh yeah, you're super excited, super pumped. Oh yeah, wow, how amazing this new language. But somewhere along the line, you're not gonna be so motivated. You're not gonna be that in that level. So when you declare that with the world, you're gonna stay there, and that's what happened with me. I started learning German, but I declared first. When I was at that level of excitement, I shared that with the world. I declared it with people, and there's no way I'm gonna stop. There's no way. Maybe you saw me speaking some basic German a few months back. I shared a video, and you're gonna keep seeing me. There's no way I'm gonna stop, even though sometimes I don't want to do it, and sometimes I do want to do it. I'm not gonna stop because there are people waiting for me, people who know that I'm doing it. So I declare that with the world. I don't procrastinate it because people are waiting. People are waiting for me. This is number 2, get accountability. Number 3 is do it first, please, for God's sake. Do it first. Do that super complicated, boring, stressing thing. Do it first. Do it first thing in the morning. Oh, wow. I mean, since it is super complicated, we procrastinate it, right? We just put it off and put it off and put it off. And maybe we want to do it by the evening and by the afternoon. And of course, it's not going to happen. We don't get it done. Our brain is gonna give it the best excuse. Hey, you're tired, get some sleep. Do you think that you have to get some rest? I mean, come on. Do it first. The best example for this is if you try to watch a 4K video in your telephone, right? A 4K video when your telephone is 15% battery, 10% battery, it's not gonna happen. I mean, the phone is gonna explode. It's gonna go off. I mean, it's gonna be off in just a few minutes. It's not gonna happen. By the way, and on the other hand, when you try to watch that same video, when your battery is 100%, it's just full, it's gonna happen. You're gonna watch it, even if it is 4K, full quality, right? Same thing happened with our body. Same thing happened with our body. When you start doing that first thing in the morning, that's the point when you have your willpower, first of all, is at its highest levels. Your willpower, highest levels, and you have more energy. You're at 100% energy. That's the point when you have to get that done. That's the point when you have to get that done. So that super complicated, boring thing, put it first in your list, in your to-do list, your plan, your agenda, your calendar. Put it first. Do it first. Start early and do it first. Don't, leave that for the afternoon because it's never going to happen because it is super complicated. So get that first. There's a book that I highly recommend. It's the book Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. It says it gives this as an example. If you have a big frog on your desk, I mean, there's no way in the world that you have to be just taking care and watching the little frogs, the baby frogs that are around. No way. You have to take care of that big frog, that big ugliest frog that's on your desk. You have to get rid of that one. And then you see the other little baby frogs around. So do it first. And last but not least, this is a bonus. Number 4, just in case you cannot do it first by any reason, and maybe it's afternoon, maybe it's noon, and that's the point when you're gonna start doing that super complicated, boring thing. You must, and this is highly recommended by neuroscientists, people who studied human behavior, highly recommended that you have smaller cycles. And what do I mean by cycles? Cycles, maybe you have heard before that you have to work by cycles. You are 1 hour and rest 10 minutes. 1 hour and rest 10 minutes. Just as an example. This is an example of a cycle. You have to have smaller cycles with, of course, less duration to get that done. That is a way to manage your energy. That's a way to manage your energy. Have a cycle, let's say somewhere 40, 45 minutes. If it is 30, 35, good. And rest for 5, 10 minutes to get that done. So have better cycles to get that done, those super complicated things. Especially if you start doing that later in the afternoon, at noon, when your energy is lower, have better cycles, 40, 45, 35 minutes, and rest for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, take a break, have a walk. You're gonna see when you get back, you're gonna be more fresh, you're gonna be more concentrated, you're gonna be more focused. So have better cycles when you are doing something super complicated, because since it is taking a lot of energy from your brain, you have to manage your energy. You have to recharge just for a couple of minutes and get back, because you're gonna be dead. You're gonna get killed trying to do something that you don't like for 2 hours. So this is how you face procrastination. Procrastination is a very big enemy, and actually procrastination equals poverty. So we gotta take our procrastination to the lowest limits, to the minimum. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye-bye.